Settle back now, content, comfortable, well-fed, and ready for some fine entertainment. Is everybody happy? Then let's go. It's showtime.
Welcome to the Cuse Militia Podcast with those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
Most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
What's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please share it. The universal handle for the socials is at Cuse Militia. Go there, join the militia. We are the only Syracuse sports podcast centered around giving you, the fans, a voice. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. We are here to bring you the Georgia Tech preview, whatever. The other thing is that a new episode of Tie Thoughts was released this afternoon, so you can check that out. You can still check out the Pitt post game is also available if you want to endure that. Some good fan feedback in there. So, anyways, all of that great stuff. We do have some clarification on Dino holding the timeout, so we'll go over a little bit of that audio from a press conference earlier in the week. So we'll hit that up. We will do the preview, and then we will do the BetOnline picks for this week, and we'll pick a game. We'll pick a game of the week. Do we know how we did? Do we know how you did last week? Did we even check it?
I don't think we did.
I don't think I did. I know I didn't.
Should have.
We should keep track of it. We're going to do it. I'm just
probably.
Saying. So,
I mean, we could always go back and, we could figure it out.
Yes. Rate, review, subscribe. Thanks to everybody who has already done so. I got a little package. Shout out to David for his review, his glowing review of us and this show. We really appreciate that. And I've got his stuff. I've got your stuff, David. I got your stuff. It hasn't hit a mailbox yet, but I've got your stuff. So, Syracuse will try out their new turf under a new roof on noon this Saturday, another noon kickoff. Local TV will not be airing the game, which is insane to me that you cannot have fans there and local TV will not be airing the game. It is just ridiculous. I'm sorry, that
and
is
it's not
so
like we have a
stupid.
full slate of Saturday football, too. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot more games. I think SEC's starting and stuff, but we got a bunch of conferences that are playing, so there's no reason why. That
is just idiotic. And I didn't even look. I don't know if someone gave a reason. I don't really care. And I hate to sound so, jaded.
Yeah.
But I'm jaded. I am. So it's going to be on ACC Network Extra if you want to watch that. But, you got this big, huge, empty stadium. Just as an example, watch the Raiders game last night, and you've got this big, beautiful new stadium there, and you've got all the casinos and bars are open in Vegas, but there's not a fan allowed in the new stadium, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It's like, okay, if it holds 50,000, why not have 15? Why not have 10,000? It makes no sense. You can touch all the dirty-ass machines in a casino, but you can't go to a brand-new football stadium and watch some football. Okay. Makes total sense. Again, everything comes down to the dollar bill, y'all. Dollar bill, y'all. As the great prophet Method Man once said. All right. So, with that said, let's do this. Let's get into some of this here. And first, obviously, we're going to go over the reads, and the reads are as follows. BetOnline. We thank BetOnline for being the title sponsor to the show, Tie Thoughts, and Armchair Media, coming on board and taking on that. More power to them. I would like some new reads, though. Last time I asked for new reads, I got them. But hey, look, you might not be able to get to a game this year, college or otherwise. You should be able to. Will you be able to? I don't know. I have high hopes. Fingers crossed. But if you can't get to a game, you can still get in on all of the action at BetOnline. BetOnline is going the extra mile to make sure you can get involved on everything imaginable this season, from game spread and totals to team, player, and coaching props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online, and you can get in on their season opening bonuses today and start off wagering on win, division, and championship futures now. Head to BetOnline.ag today and take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Will be hitting up BetOnline one more time this episode for the BetOnline ACC picks of the week. So, as Joe just forced into it, and like a champion, he just takes it on the chin. Other things he takes on the chin. The Lawnmower 3.0. He uses it everywhere. It's okay. It's okay. It's washable. This thing's waterproof, all right? The Lawnmower 3.0 is a premium electric trimmer that's designed to give you a confidence boost through body image. The ceramic blade and skin-safe technology are designed to reduce nicks and tugs on the boys down low. The Lawnmower 3.0 is also waterproof and comes with an LED light so you can manscape in the shower or in the dark, or in the dark in the shower also. They just released the Shears 2.0 nail kit, which is a perfect add-on for the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer. The Shears 2.0 is a luxury 4-piece nail kit featuring tempered stainless steel tools, and it includes as follows: tip tweezers, round point scissors, fingernail clippers, and a medium grit nail file. For you, your lady, or maybe just you, whatever. You're into the nail file thing, more power to you, man. That shows you care, all right? Shows you care. The Shears 2.0 nail kit allows you to pluck your eyebrows too, trim your nails any style. Go to the website now. You can check out the Crop Preserver. I've talked plenty of good things about the cologne. It's magical. The guys at work won't be able to keep their hands off you. So go there, check that out. The Crop Preserver is anti-chafing deodorant for below the belt, all right? Go to manscaped.com, and our listeners will get 20% off and free shipping if you use the promo code ARMCHAIR at manscaped.com. That's promo code ARMCHAIR. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. What's the promo code, Joe? What's the promo code?
No idea.
It's ARMCHAIR. Thank you, Manscaped. Thank you, BetOnline. Okay, so.
It was a bad guess, I guess.
All right, let's get some clarification, Joe, on the usage or lack thereof of the timeout situation at the end of the Pitt game. It was a question asked by Brent X, and it was controversial. We talked about it a little bit. We said it was a bad look, but let's hear Coach's explanation for it.
I was going to use timeouts after the third down stop. Okay, I had two choices: either use them after every single play, which a lot of people believe I should have, or to save timeouts for what we had to accomplish. What we had to accomplish was a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, an onside kick, and then a long field goal. And long field goals on that side of the field are not easy to come by. You really got to penetrate deep. I want to say we have to go inside 30, 40, 47. We've got to be somewhere. The ball's got to be somewhere on the 30-yard line on that side to really, maybe 31, 32, to get a really good shot at a field goal where the wind swirls and stuff down there. And a lot of people don't know that, but when you've been a coach at Pitt and you've watched enough Pittsburgh Steelers games, you know where all the action is and you know where you want that ball to be kicked at. So that was the situations, and with those three situations, I thought we needed some field goals with our offense to be able to, some timeouts with our offense to be able to do that. So I was going to let the time eat on the first two plays, called timeout after the third down stop, so they couldn't run the time on the punt team, get the punt, and then have two timeouts for the offense to do something that's very difficult to do.
Well, since you put it like that, it does add some clarification. Right, Joe?
Yeah.
As we said, at the very least, it was a bad look. We didn't know the intentions. It really just came off really bad. It does give clarification, but I will say I've played enough Madden to know you don't ever waste your timeouts in that situation at the end of a game. To not use one of them is a sin. It is a sin. You have to at least try something at some point. If you're waiting for third down, you're waiting for third down. But once you realize third down...
Usually we don't have three in that situation anyway. Usually we already used one, right?
Okay,
anyway,
true.
But
I
think it definitely gives clarification, because what happens there is usually, you watch it in the NFL and stuff like that, and you want to use the timeouts, and then you get the offense the ball, right? Well, in this situation, I can understand. Babers understands that we need to get a 3 and out. If they get a first down, game's over anyway, even if we use the timeouts, right? So you look at it, the defense has to get a stop. And in the way that our offense and our defense has been playing, what side of the ball do you want to save the timeouts for?
The offense, obviously. Yeah.
Okay, so that was his thinking.
His
thinking was right. So again,
because DeVito's going to get sacked, the clock's going to run, we're going to lose 10 yards, and then we're going to have to start all over.
Once the sack and it's done.
Yeah,
you have a guy 40 yards.
I'm kidding.
You got to
I'm
have
kidding.
The receiver. No, I know, but I'm just saying, like it's easy to kind of, oh God, you use the timeouts, but it was one of those things where if you're going to give one side the timeouts, it's going to be the offense, and we needed a stop. If they got a first down, it was over anyway.
Well, true, but your defense could use a break too.
Once they got the first down, he was kind of like, well,
let's see what happens.
Pretty much that.
Right. Well, I understand. I get it.
We weren't. I mean, if they got a first down, we weren't gonna be able to get 2 scores.
I understand. It is definitely a whole lot clearer. Still don't necessarily totally agree with not using any timeouts. That's okay though. Whatever. He's the coach. I'm not the coach. So, right? I mean, seriously, it is what it is. And I took no pleasure in chastising that whole sequence either. Like, I
understand it looks bad, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there since we did talk about it quite a bit in the post game of Pitt. So, some other news that has come out. You can go read the article from Syracuse.com. It is a locked article, but you can hit it up if you go to Mike McAllister's Twitter account. He has it posted. The Chris Blake fiasco. Looks like we didn't get that waiver because of there's some things going on. Having to do with his departure from Florida. Looks like he got injured. The medical staff was incompetent to some level of taking care of him, and the article's long, right? He played through a lot of injury. He wasn't treated correctly medically through that. That year.
And heads up to Syracuse.com. I mean, I know that you want the subscriptions, but Chris Carlson, that was a great story.
Hats off to Chris.
And it's kind of long, but it's got a lot of information in there. Interviewed Chris's dad. So again, a lot of this stuff, I'm not going to call the guy a liar, but obviously, there's lawyers involved.
Right.
And I mean, if you go there, you read it. Obviously, I think after reading that, it's not the last we're going to hear about that.
No, this is going to be a thing. And we'll talk more as it develops, I guess. But they might reapply.
Yeah, well, I guess right now the whole thing is again, when you read it, it's from the perspective of the parent, and his dad makes it very clear that he does not want to speak for his son, and that they're not going to go over his head if it's something that he doesn't want to do, because something tells me he just wants to play football, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he's going to be going after the situation of trying to make a school look bad or this, that, or the other, but I think a lot of it is from the parents and morally looking at it like, hey, like this happened to our kid, and our kid might be, a kid that doesn't want to use it and doesn't want to like go after a school or this or that. But it looks bad overall, and the NCAA shouldn't be covering some stuff like this up. If this is true, and the team in Florida, that's what happened medically. I mean, that's not a very good look at all. Some people can probably lose their jobs, and realistically, like I said, I want to wait for more information to come out and wait to see what happens. And I don't want to, just jump on it like it's all true, but I also don't want to call the father a liar. So it all is really going to depend on what Chris wants to do. But again, the NCAA can't cover up for malpractice. If you're trying to protect the kids, then this is stuff that needs to be called out.
Yeah. You got to wonder though, how many kids aren't, this is complete speculation, like Joe said, wait for all that. And I'm not talking about any school in particular, but the way that some of the kids might be treated medically sometimes playing through some things, maybe to an extent is an issue in college football.
Well, and
in college sports.
And there's also a situation where I don't know if you're a school, why you would want to have a certain investigation. I mean, every time you push a kid to possibly do something that he doesn't want to do, in which this comes down to, how obligatory was Chris when it came down to it, right? Was it one of those things where he was just playing it off too, like, oh, I just want to play, I don't want to lose my starting spot?
Well, right.
I mean, how much did he push towards that stuff? So there's a lot that's involved, but in one instance, you might look at it and say, hey, like, why would a school mess with a kid's transfer, especially if they really didn't take care of him, right? They'd have something to worry about. Why wouldn't you just let him go on his way so that, something doesn't happen to you? So there's either some, some facts that aren't all there in the story, or there's just a huge, huge ego in the fact that Florida just feels safe with the NCAA and
it's possible
that nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, it's possible.
Or that the kid's not going to go and snitch, right?
Right. Well, we'll see as that unfolds and we know more. Obviously, you can check it out yourself, but we'll be talking about it as that progresses. So, on to Georgia Tech, Joe. Syracuse, I like to look up a little history on the series between Syracuse and whatever team they're playing, whether it be football or basketball, because I always find it interesting. There's always some good nuggets in there. But there's nothing. There's nothing. Syracuse is 0-3 all-time against Georgia Tech. They've only played 3 times in school history, which I thought, was just crazy as I looked it up. Syracuse, they've played the Yellow Jackets less than any other ACC team. And what I can tell you, though, is that last year, Georgia Tech was 3-9 overall, 2-6 in the ACC. So far, the defense this year has racked up 5 turnovers and 5 sacks in 2 games. They did pull off a win at Florida State, 16-13, but they lost big time at home against UCF, 49-21. And so, when you look at the stats for this year so far, Jeff Sims, he's quarterback. 521 yards so far this season. Also, he's leading in rushing with 146. Their main quarterback, Jameis Griffin, is averaging 5.1 yards a carry on 17 attempts. So they've kind of transitioning their triple option into something a little bit more formidable for college football, not so predictable. It seems that they're still working on it, to say the least, but it's really hard to dig up anything right now with them just in general. It's almost as bad as UNC at the beginning of the year when no one had even played yet. But, I mean, they can score, and their defense isn't terrible. I mean, it was terrible last week, but they do have some. They do have, they got some turnovers. I think they're in the plus column on turnover end, so. Maybe +1. I know that Jeff Sims has thrown 4 picks, so that's
2 each game.
Yeah, that's one advantage to Syracuse right there. I think the secondary could very well disrupt his passing.
Yeah,
but he's a versatile guy too. So I mean, he can run. He can.
Yeah, he's definitely versatile. I went back and I actually watched the condensed game last night against Florida State. They were down 10-0. There's a lot of sloppy play, really, but they got some fast guys out there. And Sims, he's a freshman. He's a freshman quarterback out there trying to figure it out, and he can run, right? So he's definitely going to be an issue. One thing to look at, I know that they had 6 players out, and 3 of them were starters, projected starters, and a couple started in the Florida State game. So they had some injuries with the Central Florida, but Central Florida's a pretty solid squad. Georgia Tech, it's going to be tough because I know the Central Florida that made their defense look bad, but Florida State, they didn't really have the easiest time moving the ball against them. So, again, I'm not going to sit here and even try to speculate what we're going to see on offense because we know what we've seen the last 2 weeks, and although this defense isn't as good as the last 2 defenses that we've played, until I see it, then I really can't talk to that side with confidence.
Well, let's just stop there for a second and go back to Coach's press conference earlier in the week. And what he said, basically, if you didn't listen to it, was that the offense looks like a huge problem to us. but it's a bunch of little things, and it's having to do with the quarterback, the receivers, and the line. It's a third of everybody's issue.
And we talked about that too.
Yeah, we did. We did a little bit
on Sunday when we said, it's probably a bunch of everything.
Right.
It's probably the play calling, and in fact, the offensive coordinator still probably isn't comfortable with his personnel.
That's what I was just going to say. I was going to say he probably didn't want to call out his coach, but you can add in the play calling and the coaching on the offensive end, and you can split it up that way. Add a little bit of extra into there, and basically what you got is a bunch of little things to fix.
Yeah, we said that our receivers can't get open, or there's like miscommunications on the offensive line, not having the two starting running backs that we thought we were going to have. When you scramble all that together on top of the fact of no spring practice and this whole coronavirus thing,
you're rebuilding. Essentially,
yeah. I mean,
you lost your best receiver. I mean, so. Yeah.
And minus really, really good teams and offenses, you're seeing it.
So
I would be willing to guess that Pittsburgh and North Carolina, if we had them at the end of the year, they'd probably put up more points than what they did.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. But we're watching the growing pains right now. Unfortunately, it's like I said in the last episode, I always believed that Syracuse was going to be behind the 8 ball on this, and it seems that way. Not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but. Go on, Joe. Go on. So with the offense, this is my philosophy on the offense going forward here. Okay, as long as I see some kind of improvement, which I believe I did last week against Pitt. As long as I'm seeing something, a little bit more run game, a better run game, less sacks. We're not there yet. A little bit better offensive line play. The little things start to get better. That's all. That's where my expectations are. I just want to see improvement every week.
I mean, the way that Dino said it in his presser is that we have a whole bunch of things that we need to fix, and hopefully we fix one thing so that we can turn around and we can just fix the next thing, and instead of trying to fix everything at once. So you got to figure out what's the easiest thing to fix so that we can just get that out of the way, and now on to the next one. And
cautiously optimistic on that end too, by the way.
Well, let's see what changes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Back to Georgia Tech. I'm sorry.
Right. So again, that's our offense type situation. As far as their offense against our defense, again, like I said, when I went back and watched it, they got the whole read option thing. You're going to see the quarterback who can run, who gets it in the shotgun, and he either hands it off or he doesn't, and then he keeps it, and sometimes he passes out of it. There's the run pass option. And the first game against Florida State, when I watched. The running back that you had mentioned earlier, and also Jordan Mason. There were two guys that I noticed, two running backs that were pretty solid. They were pretty solid, and they had receivers. No one really had an outstanding game. They kind of everybody did their part. But the one thing I did see with Sims as the quarterback is that he does try to sometimes make too much out of a play. He kind of extends the play.
Young.
Most of his quarterbacks are I think the 2 interceptions I saw in Florida State was he was out of the pocket, kind of, moving around, moving the pocket, and just kind of scrambling, and he was throwing it while he was moving and trying to make the deeper pass instead of maybe just rushing for a couple yards or maybe doing the check down. So. That's something that can be fixed, and I hope it's not fixed by this Saturday. Mm-hmm. But that's the one thing that I saw. He has thrown two interceptions each game. So, but also the one thing I saw as well, because Jordan Mason, one of the two running backs that I saw against Florida State that was pretty good, he couldn't play against Central Florida, and instead Jahmyr Gibbs, who is a freshman running back, bursted onto the scene, even though they lost 40-something to 21 against Central Florida. This Jahmyr Gibbs guy, he had 126 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. But he also, you add the return yards, and that all-purpose yards goes up to 219 all-purpose yards. And that was his collegiate debut, first game against Central Florida. So obviously this guy's a burner. He's a playmaker, and he just burst on the scene last week. So we don't know if the 6 players that in the three out of those 6 who were starters, if they are going to be ready for this week or not, including Jordan Mason, who's the running back. But I'd have to imagine that after the show that Jahmyr Gibbs put on in a losing effort last week as a freshman, that he's going to be out there. So
Yeah,
they have playmakers at running back.
Yeah.
I think he had a receiving touchdown as a running back. So I think he was a leading receiver as a running back against Central Florida. So
if I'm Georgia Tech coming into the Dome to play Syracuse with no fans, which is dumb, what I would be doing is some of that read option stuff and that triple option stuff. I'd be bringing some of that back. Dink and Duncan.
Yeah.
I'm not giving Andre Cisco and Trill Williams a chance to pick me off. I'm not doing it. So
you say that, but this guy, he seems to be kind of when the play gets extended and he's rolling out, he seems to try to find the deep guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So
I'm all
maybe
for
it's just
that.
accuracy on the move either way. But again, Georgia Tech, they're just closer to seeing who their playmakers are, and they have playmakers. So, and this is going to be the first kind of. I think that North Carolina did it a little bit, but as far as the quarterbacks that we've seen, this is definitely the fastest and most versatile one that we have that we're going to see. But it's also the most inexperienced. So there is
it's dangerous though sometimes too.
Yeah, so it's the opportunity of some mistakes. So it's going to be interesting. I just hope that our defense. Again, then these running backs are good. So
are they at least pipe? Yeah, the running backs are decent. They actually. If you look at this, they have.
I think the quarterback's actually the leading rusher for the team.
Jeff Sims is the lead rusher, but they still have.
But I've seen three running backs that are legit.
There's three other ones that they use. Jamius Griffin. Oh gosh, Gibbs and Jordan Mason. I don't know how to pronounce Gibbs' first name.
Jameer.
Jameer. Okay. And Jordan Mason. Those are their three running backs. So they have a solid legit core. Yeah, definitely.
And realistically, I didn't see the Jameer Gibbs guy against Florida State. But I didn't see him against Central Florida because I didn't watch the game. But looking at his stats, guy's pretty good.
All right, so we'll get into predictions. Anything else on Georgia Tech?
Actually, there is one. The one thing that I did pick up and notice, because they did move the ball a little bit better against Florida State, but in two games. They have a freshman kicker. He's got 3 field goal attempts and a PAT blocked.
Wow.
So there are some issues as far as their kicking team goes for that. So if our defense does stay true and we bend and don't break and allow them to just have to beat us with field goals.
It's possible for these linebackers to be a nightmare for Jeff Sims. Just in general.
And that's the one. That's why I'm kind of like licking my chops, because in the past it's like, oh, crap. You get this team that's got a pretty good line and they got these athletes. And I don't know if we got the speed, Yeah. And then all of a sudden you look at the linebackers this year and they're like, oh, like that's not Keelan Whitner and Andrew Armstrong anymore. Like these guys just fly around, and we have 5 D-backs on the field as well. So it's a lot of it for our success. Obviously, is going to be taking advantage of any mistakes that they make, like all and any mistakes if they do, and obviously tackling in the open field, because these running backs and these quarterbacks, they're going to be, and they've been good. But
I've not had an issue with Syracuse's tackling yet this year. It's been pretty decent.
But between I'm talking like the second level.
Yeah, I know.
Once they get through the second level, and it's not a linebacker that's blitzing, it's a linebacker that might be standing on his 2 feet, or the balls of his feet, waiting to see what's going on, or like the defensive backs. Like those are the guys that are going to have to make those open field tackles against those guys. And again, we haven't had problems, but this team kind of has a different problem that they pose. It's the way that they play. But I do have confidence that our defense is going to be able to keep us in the game.
Okay. Well, cautiously optimistic. That's the motto for the season. And up next, we are going to get into the BetOnline picks of the week. We'll pick a game of the week for you to keep your eye on. And we will also do the predictions. ACC versus ACC only. That's presented to you by BetOnline, the premier sponsor for the Cuse Militia. Now, obviously, I already mentioned this before. You might not be able to get to a game, but you can always go to BetOnline. They've got the virtual stuff. They've got every NCAA game going on. Is the NBA still playing playoffs?
Yes, they are.
Why? Why is that still going? How long does this last? 3 months? This is insane. I wish the NCAA tournament lasted that long. I really do. But anyway, I digress. So, BetOnline, they're going the extra mile to make sure you can get involved on all the action imaginable this season, from game spread and totals to team player and coaching props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online, and you can get in on their season opening bonuses today. Start off wagering on win, division, and championship futures now. Head over to BetOnline today and take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Easy for me to say. Okay, so, Joe.
Hey, by the way, I went 3-3 last week.
I'm going to need you to do better. Okay? People are
Hey.
What?
That's breaking even.
It's breaking even. It's breaking even, but we don't want to be, irresponsible here with this, okay? So we're going to have to come up with a disclaimer. Obviously, we don't want you solely...
I did. I told everybody last week.
Okay, you did.
This doesn't mean to bet it.
That's true. But
if you happen to...
But if you happen to go to BetOnline and use Joe's knowledge... We're going to start with our game, as we always do. Let's start with the Syracuse-Georgia Tech game, or the Georgia Tech at Syracuse game. Given Syracuse 7.5 points right now, according to BetOnline.ag, Joe, it's tightening up. It's tightened up since last week. We did beat the spread last week. Lost the game, unfortunately, but we did beat the spread, so we got that going for us. You did pick that one, as well as I. This one is a little tougher for me. I almost wish... I don't know. But I'm going to let you go first, as always, because you are the betting expert. You really are.
I'm not the betting expert, but...
You're the betting expert of this show.
Oh, well, if I'm going to be compared to you, then, okay, I get it. No, I'm going to take Syracuse, and reason being is that I'm going to go kind of... Okay, I lost last week when I picked Georgia Tech with the points because I didn't think that... I had thought that Florida State was pretty good, and I'm like, okay, well, Florida State's supposed to be pretty decent this year, and
UCF,
Georgia Tech,
awesome.
Georgia Tech beat them, and UCF, yeah, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, they haven't played a game yet, Georgia Tech has, and I kind of came back and bit me, and what I'm looking at is that maybe that those type of tier teams might not be as good as the tier teams that we've actually played against the first two games. So, I mean, obviously the first two games, ranked teams and good defenses and experienced quarterbacks. So I'm going to kind of just go on the whim of like that Florida State and maybe some of these other teams just aren't as good as maybe we thought, and that Georgia Tech is a step down from the competition that we've been playing, and that, maybe we see something a little bit different because I don't think that they have the same defense as the first two defenses. So I think it's the easiest defense. Well, it's not they're not, a slouch, but they're not as good as the first two defenses that we played. So with that and the confidence that we can score a little bit more points, let's put it this way. If we keep making the same progression that we have and we go up 4 points and we score 14 points, then I can see, our defense stopping them, their kicker missing a couple kicks, and then we cover.
Just let them unravel. Right? Just start to pull the string on the sweater and let them unravel. Well, look, I mean, I'm only going to comment on a couple of these. Maybe this is going to be one of them. Obviously, I'll take Syracuse in this. Look, it's home. I don't feel like we get the Syracuse football gets the full advantage of being home. It's a new place. There's not going to be any fans there. I don't know if they're piping fan noise in or not. But
how many they have been? How many fans do cardboard cutouts count as?
None. 0.
Oh.
Okay. So, yeah. What's funny about I get sidetracked easy. But what's funny about the crowd noise is if you pay attention to it, they screw up when to cheer really loud and when to be quieter. So, in other words, you see them cheering for the away team sometimes, which is weird. You ever notice that? I
try not to pay attention.
Well, I'm going to just be honest, and I'm just this guy. The piped-in crowd noise is awful. I think it's annoying. I know it's fake. It's just like canned laughter on sitcoms back in the
Something
day.
probably tells me that the players know it's fake too.
You think so? Think so, Joe? Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm taking Syracuse here. Here's the big question, Joe. Syracuse at home, opening up the dome under the new roof on the new turf. 0-2, prime opportunity. They're not even. They're disrespecting. They're disrespecting the Orange, the networks. They're not even playing this thing on TV, local television. I mean, it makes you want to puke a little bit. What do you think, man? They come in with a chip on their shoulder, they pull out the W, or what?
God willing.
Well, yeah, God willing, anything can happen, Joe. But I'm talking about Syracuse, Georgia Tech. Is it going to be a W, bro?
I thought we were doing spreads here.
We always do both with this, and you know that. Don't play stupid. Don't try to kill the clock. So,
All right. Look, do not bet the money line on Syracuse in this. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Fair enough.
There hasn't been enough evidence. Unless we get a special teams or defensive touchdown, I don't think we can win this game because there hasn't been enough evidence. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think that Georgia Tech's going to get enough to where I think they're going to get, even if our defense plays lights out, they're going to get to 17 to 24 points.
Yeah, the offense has got to be scoring points. We can't do this one touchdown on a random throw by the backup quarterbacks.
No, unless this defense just starts scoring and they say, hey, let's take it into our own hands.
Which is
Because I
possible.
thought that last week, if we really wanted to push that issue on that like backwards pass, whatever, if Mikael Jones really wanted to, we could have scored on that.
True. Now, we did pick, at least I did, I picked every home game as a win in the beginning of the year. And I'm just looking at it now. NC State, second to last game of the season. Boston College. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but by that time, we don't know what we're going to have. Again, I do understand that, like, even last year, we got better, right? You just got to figure it out.
Yep. Okay. Louisville at Pittsburgh, another ACC game. Giving Louisville 2.5 points. This is not my game of the week. Is it yours, Joe? It's the closest spread. Let's put it that way. But it's not. I got my eye on another game. But this is a good matchup.
No, it can't be. It can't be based on a rivalry. It can't be. But they're two ranked teams.
True.
It's going to be a good one. And
It's going to be a good game. Yeah. Who do you got? You taking?
I'm taking Louisville.
Taking Louisville. Okay.
I'm taking Louisville on that. I think Louisville is going to be kind of pissed off at their performance against Miami. That was one of the ones I got right last week with Miami taking the W because I chose them because they played a game. In Louisville, they fought hard all the way to the end, scored 34 points on them, but they also gave up 47. So they're going to have to shore up some of their defense and everything like that. But I just don't see Pittsburgh's offense being the same as Miami's. I don't know if you guys haven't seen Miami, and we'll talk about it later. De'Aaron King, that quarterback is something else. And they got some they're loaded. So they're a lot better than what I thought they were going to be. So I think that Louisville is going to take that and they're going to go run with it. And I think they're going to beat Pitt pretty easily.
All right. Duke at Virginia, giving Duke 5.5 points. I have not gotten a glimpse of Virginia yet. I did watch Duke randomly. I watched the Notre Dame game, which they held with
Virginia hasn't played yet.
Okay, well, that explains why I haven't seen him play yet, because I haven't.
Yep.
So, in fact, I totally had forgotten about him, which is
Virginia and Virginia Tech were supposed to play last week.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm gonna take Duke on that. I mean, Virginia hasn't seen live action. Duke's playing their third game. I mean, that's a huge advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, Bronco Mendenhall's got that team playing pretty well, but he had a senior quarterback last year, so they're going to be going through a quarterback change. Again, Virginia Tech were supposed to play, I believe, last week, but it got canceled because of coronavirus. So, again, yeah, I mean, I picked Duke last week, and Boston College hadn't played a game, and they came out and they beat up Duke pretty well. I don't think that Virginia is Boston College. I think that their quarterback kind of ran the show for them last year. So I think I'm going to agree with you. I think I'm going to take Duke here, with obviously 2 games and being able to be that much closer to figuring who's who and who's supposed to be there in the roles, versus a team who's changing a quarterback and haven't played a game yet. Yeah, I'll take Duke.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's see. All right, well, Florida State at Miami. Here we go. Florida State getting 11.5 points. Good rivalry game. I don't know. Is this the game of the week for you, Joe? It's not mine.
See,
I got my eyes on another one.
So I'm going to throw it out there as the game of the week only because of the rivalry. And just weird things happen when Florida State and Miami play.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's tough. In-state rivalry. Florida State also had a bye week. God. Dude, I can't do it. Because
really?
I watched.
I mean, I think Miami's got that. I look at this and I'm like, Miami's got that.
I do. And the reason why it's so close is because of the rivalry, and I'm sure that Florida State's going to be game and everything, but seeing what I saw as far as Florida State had a 10-0 lead on Georgia Tech, and they let a freshman quarterback come back and beat them. And it could have been worse if their field goal kicker hit some stuff, but versus Miami, who has really done nothing but impress. They've gotten better every single week.
Yeah, they're just that team, man.
I just don't see that being. It might be close early, but I don't see it. I would take Miami, and that's a lot of points for this rivalry.
Yeah, it is. That's why I didn't pick it as my game of the week. And look, I'm no good at picking games of the week. I mean, but I'm going to try it this week, and it's NC State at Virginia Tech. Given NC State 6.5 points, Virginia Tech ranked 24th. NC State not on the AP top 25, but a team that's impressive, I think, to say the least. I watched a lot of that game last weekend, flipping back and forth from that and the race, and I mean they're just a team that's on the upswing. And I haven't seen anything from Virginia Tech yet this year. Have they played?
Nope.
No, they haven't. They haven't. So that's huge advantage to NC State. Going in, the raking Virginia Tech, it's 24th, 3 weeks into the season, they haven't even played yet. That's a fallacy. I'm taking NC State. That's my game of the week, though. It'd be interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think that Virginia Tech does have a better defense. I don't think that NC State's going to be able to put up those points that they did against Wake Forest, but I will agree that I do think that NC State will cover that.
Okay, that's gonna be a good game to watch. Both of those games, Miami, Florida State, and this. Yeah. I think Florida State might get their asses kicked badly.
They could.
Yeah, so we'll see. But the one we're talking, go ahead.
Notre Dame Wake Forest matchup got canceled.
Yeah, true that. We did talk about that before we went on air. Yeah. Rona. What
about BC?
Boston College? Did I skip over Boston College? Help me out here. Dead air.
We didn't talk about them.
I think Boston College is playing out of conference this week. I'm looking.
They are playing out of conference. They're playing against Texas State.
Yeah, I'm not. We don't. We only do ACC.
Okay. So ACC versus ACC.
Yeah, I don't do the out-of-conference stuff.
I thought we were going to do all ACC except for if Notre Dame was playing a non-conference game.
I'm sorry.
Now that applies to everybody?
No non-conference. That's boring. Unless you're right, because we did do the Georgia Tech UCF game last week.
Yep.
How bad does that suck for Georgia Tech having to play their out-of-conference game and having it be UCF and getting your asses handed to you? That sucks.
No.
That sucks.
Hey.
It does.
Well, it could be. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna laugh.
I'm not
because if our offense doesn't get it together, I'm gonna be sweating bullets come that Liberty game.
You ain't lying. All the trash the Syracuse fans been talking about Liberty, boy. Look, they gave us a run last year to some extent. Like, remember that was our first game of the season last year. Hugh Freeze with the thumbs up, backlit from the damn the damn press box or whatever the hell he was in. It was absolutely ridiculous, and they held their own for a little bit. So we'll see what happens. But no.
And Liberty won their first game against Western Kentucky, 30-24.
Yeah. So you know what? Well, we'll deal with them one at a time. Let's get this Georgia Tech game over. Opening up the Dome this weekend at noon, ACC Network Extra. I want to thank BetOnline.ag, Manscaped.com. I want to thank all of you for listening. Thank you for the support. We really appreciate you guys. You have no idea how it's been going off, and while Syracuse is struggling, for all of you to be hitting us up on DM or on email and on Twitter and Facebook and everything. It just is awesome. I enjoy it so much. I may not get back to you right away, but I do really appreciate it. And
hey, man, we're going to all get through this together.
Yes, that's right. You want to come here for your therapy, at least, So we will be back here as planned, hopefully on Sunday. Thanks to James on guitar. Appreciate all of you. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Cuse Militia Podcast, the fan's voice with Sean and Joe.